welcome all of you, those of you who are here in person and those joining us via live stream from NYU's global network. I just wanted to engage with you based on the conversations that you may be having and what I have on a regular basis since I've joined academia and prior to that as well. I usually have this conversation almost all my classes, all right? So students will come up to me after class in a very, very serious tone and say, look, I don't care about all this sustainability stuff. I happen to teach green building, sustainable development, and ESG here at NYU. And they say, I don't care about all this stuff. I don't care about the world. The whales, definitely not my problem. I just want to make money. It may sound familiar to some of you. So my response to that is very templated by now. And it's usually amazing. Do you like drinking clean water? And they say, yes. And then I normally respond to that going, do you like breathing fresh air? They're like, yeah, absolutely. Then I ask them, do you like the idea that your future generations and your future kids won't have to suffer from asthma? They're like, yes, of course. So I tell them, you do care about sustainability. You just don't realize it yet. You may have heard, some of you, the story of the 6 blind men and the elephant. Each man touches a different part of the elephant and describes it based on what they perceive. One grabs the trunk and says, it's like a snake. Another touches the leg and says, no, it's like a tree. The other feels the tusk and insists, no, it's a spear. Each of them are partially right, but none of them sees the full picture. And this is how exactly sustainability is handled today. So let's talk about the blind men in real estate. Now imagine if these 6 people were real estate professionals and were asked to describe sustainability. The lawyer would say, sustainability is about compliance. The environmentalist would argue, no, it's about emissions, energy efficiency, and climate impact. The developer would say, you guys are nuts. It's about construction costs, land use, return on investment. The affordable housing advocate would chime in, no, it's about equity, displacement, and housing access. The urban planners would argue, no, it's about transportation, zoning, and resilience. Each of them sees part of that picture, but none of them sees the whole. And that's how the real estate industry approaches sustainability today, with compliance, not comprehension. We've built an industry that prioritizes obedience over understanding. But without genuine stakeholder buy-in, lasting change is nearly impossible to achieve. People care about sustainability. Sometimes they don't realize how important it is until they find out it affects them too. But what happens when we break these silos? That's exactly what today's conference is about. Real progress requires more than just policies and checkboxes. It demands a new way of thinking, building, and investing. So at its core, sustainability is a very simple normative concept. That means it shapes societal expectations and how we should live, work, and coexist, essentially. We see normative behavior every day in life. We say please and thank you. We stand in line instead of cutting ahead. We dress formally for job interviews, at least the ones in person. But these aren't laws. These are social expectations. These are widely accepted behaviors that create order, predictability, and respect in human relationships. Sustainability works exactly the same way. When enough people accept an idea as a standard, it becomes the norm. And when something becomes a norm, it shapes how businesses operate, how cities are designed, and ultimately what becomes law, not the other way around. Take smoking, for example. It may surprise some of you in the room that doctors actually once upon a time endorsed smoking. Yes, there was a time when smoking was considered completely normal and even healthy. But over time, as public awareness of health risks grew, society collectively decided that secondhand smoke is unacceptable. So businesses responded, banning smoking indoors, as we see now. Eventually, governments passed laws to enforce it. And this is exactly how sustainability evolves. At first, some people may care about it, and not everyone, and that's okay. Then it becomes an expectation, something we just assume should be standard, right? And then finally, it becomes law. We need to shift public perception and business strategy. First, because laws alone won't be enough to drive change. So most of the time when people hear the word sustainability, they immediately think of climate change, carbon emissions, and maybe these days resiliency. And while those things are undeniably important, they're not the whole story. We discuss these issues and essential topics as separate challenges rather than interconnected systems. Sustainability goes beyond protecting the environment. It's about protecting people, economies, and systems that we rely on every day. While different places geographically in the world will have different challenges, we can all agree on the basic human needs, including clean air, water, safe water to drink, resilient infrastructure, dignity, and a place where people and nature can coexist. So when we talk about sustainable real estate, the conversation should extend just beyond energy consumption. It should include how the built environment impacts the people who live and work in these spaces every day. Sustainability is about avoiding harm and unlocking value. And that's where the opportunity lies. So that's all great, but how do we break these silos in practice? It starts with how we structure conversations. That's why when designing the conference, I had a choice. I could follow the traditional, usual playbook, an event focused on energy, policy, finance, and green building materials. But I knew that we needed something more. We needed a real estate sustainability conference that connected climate, community, and ethical leadership. So that's why I ended up reworking everything. Every panel now bridges disciplines. We bring together academics, industry leaders, and policymakers in the same room. Every discussion is built around real-world challenges and actionable insights. Most importantly, this conference is about your leadership and openness to engaging in dialogue. So thank you for being here. We have 14 different schools and departments across NYU participating in this event. And this conference is really about you. Here's the reality. Most people, unfortunately, don't wake up thinking about sustainability. It's unbelievable. I found it unbelievable, but it's true. They wake up thinking about their jobs, investments, families, and their financial future. And when we frame sustainability as a moral obligation, some people, and that's something that some people should care about, the conversations often fail. People shut off. Okay? And for many decision makers in real estate, business, and investment, the real question they are really asking is, where's the money going? What are the investments actually, are they profitable? How does this impact my bottom line? If we keep sustainability a mystery and don't talk to each other, it will always feel like an extra cost rather than an opportunity to retain tenants, employees, and improve the bottom line. So to tackle this ongoing challenge, Professor Amy Jaffe and I are co-authoring a book. I'm honored to share that I was recently awarded the Dean's Research Grant for this work. So thank you, Dean Kamath, for your support. So at its core, sustainability must make sense. It must make business sense. And the best way to drive change is to showcase real-world success. Our book, Sustainable Real Estate, it'll serve as a roadmap. It's a practical guide for investors, developers, businesses looking to scale sustainability profitably and move beyond compliance and into leadership. And in case you're wondering, the panels of this conference are directly related and inspired by this book. So we are writing about sustainability and building a network to advance it. We are actively looking for industry partners and case studies. So if your company has led an innovative sustainability initiative, we'd love to feature your work. If your firm is struggling to integrate sustainability, please contact us. We may be able to offer some insights into how to turn sustainability into an actual business strategy that works. Scan the QR codes that are up on the screen and let's connect. If you're working on something impactful, let's talk. If you need guidance, let's strategize. So there are 2 QR codes. One's to pre-order the book if that's of interest to you. And if you would like to be a case study, we'd love to have you. Please connect with us, okay? You care about sustainability. You just don't realize it. That's a message I want to share with you so that you can share with those whose lives you touch. Sustainability is already at the core of how we build and how we invest and lead. But to truly lead the change, we have to stop treating sustainability as a separate conversation, a compliance exercise, or worse, an afterthought. We must educate ourselves. Many of you may have found your ways into real estate. Many of you never thought that you would be working in real estate, but you are here now. So we must educate ourselves and the next generation. Because if we don't shift what people believe is normal, sustainability will remain an isolated discussion, a checkbox rather than a competitive advantage. And that's why today's conference theme, Leading the Change, is so important. It's about moving beyond isolated efforts and working across disciplines, industries, and regions. It's about creating a built environment that's resilient, profitable, and impactful. The conversations we have today will shape the future of real estate. So ask yourself, how will you be part of it? Who will you connect with today? What ideas will you take back to your work? And how will you turn these insights into action? Sustainability is a competitive advantage, and the leaders who approach it holistically as part of their strategy will be the ones shaping the future. So this is the moment. This is the opportunity. The question really is, will you take it? Silos are breaking, markets are shifting, and expectations are changing. The question is, will you lead or will you be left behind? And yes, later today, we will also have a jazz performance at lunch and again at the networking reception. That's because sustainability is about buildings and about creating spaces where people want to be, right? So thank you again. And of course, a special thank you to our sponsors and supporters, the Provost Office, the Budget Office, the Office of Sustainability, NYU Wagner, Wells Fargo, and thank you to my co-chairs, Lauren Moss, who worked tirelessly to put all the panels with me together, and Amy Jaffe. And thank you for my wonderful wife, who has always been a great supporter and encouraged me to do this. So enjoy the rest of the conference.